You ready? Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm excited and genuinely grateful to welcome you to our public speaking final. Now, before I go any further, I think I should clear up what you see on the program in front of you. So typically for our public speaking final, I list on the program who each student is going to be thanking next to their name. But this year, students did not want me to type that out. They wanted it to be a surprise. So that is why next to each student's name, you see a random food item. They are not thanking onions or lemons or beets. That is an award that they will receive from me at the end of the program. And it will all make sense. So just trust in me, okay? Good. So here we go. These 20 young men and women have worked throughout the semester to strengthen their speaking skills. Throughout this semester, they've worked on skills such as projection, such as articulation, body language, eye contact, all of the elements that go into strong speaking. But more than that, I believe that each one of these students has really worked on who they are as a person, as a speaker. They've come to understand how important they are, how strong they are, and hopefully they've come to see how wonderful they are, because that is how I see them. And I know that's how all of you in the audience see them as well. And because of that, they are here to honor all of you. They are here to say thank you to so many of you, to those of you that have helped to shape them into who they are. So tonight, this afternoon, is about these 20 students, but it's also about all of you. So thank you for joining us. To begin our program, we have junior Finley Schwartz. Finley is 16 years old and plans to study journalism. Today, she thanks her mother, Tricia.
When Miss Chatterton asked us to thank an individual, there was one person whom came to my mind in which I knew I had to thank. The only constant in my life and the only person who has never left my side. My mother. I'll never really comprehend how you did what you did for my sisters and I, but you did it. She has taught me what the meaning of a woman is. Beautiful, yet humble. Strong, yet resilient. Intelligent, yet... Nope, that was it. Nothing should fall after intelligence in her mind. It was not cute nor funny to fake down or dull your intelligence in my house. It is what made you. Along with intelligence, she preached independence. Never depend on anyone, especially a man. You make your life, you make your income, and you make your choices. You walked my sisters and I through hell with smiles on our face. You never let anyone see us fall or at a moment of weakness. Mom, you are the backbone and very foundation of our family. My mother found a house and made it a home for my sisters and I to restart in. Growing up, my mother was my best friend. I never left her side, and she never left mine. In kindergarten, I walked up to my teacher every morning and had to call my mom to make sure she was okay and that I was okay. When falling asleep, I grabbed her hand and placed it under my nose ever so gently, asking if I was still breathing, in which she would reply, "Finn, if you're talking, you're breathing." As a child, I told my mother any and everything, good and bad. And every time I would do something I knew was wrong, I just had to tell my mom because I couldn't stand being dishonest. She probably wished I kept some of these things to myself, as she had a heart attack with each trouble I presented ever so casually. The point I'm trying to make is that no matter how ridiculous my behaviors, she always knew what to say or do to ease my mind. As I grew up, these problems changed from worrying if I was breathing to wondering if I was good enough, pretty enough, or mentally strong enough. Still, she knew the exact words I needed to hear, just as she did when I was a kid. The only thing that didn't change was she still probably had a heart attack every time. My best friend, Nisi, and I have this thing with my mom, which is called pep talk time. We would all sit in my bed, curled up in blankets, as Nisi and I shared our troubles that we thought were so significant at the time, whether it be the boy problems or the weekly drama we were in. My mother chuckled each time before she shared her advice. She probably did this in reaction of how ridiculous and insignificant these problems were. Still, she made us feel important and heard. By the end of each conversation, it somehow always ended with her famous line of, "Listen, you girls are too pretty and too smart to be worried over these things." We both knew she was right. It was just a matter of whether we wanted to listen or not. As time went on and each family member left us one by one, it was just my mom and I for a year and a half. These years were quiet, yet the most peaceful years of my life. My values and perspectives changed drastically during these times. Every night, my mother and I would sit on the couch and watch the reality TV show Summer House and eat the meal that we had cooked together. At the end of the night, which is 7 o'clock in our house, my mother and I would depart to our rooms. The one thing my mother and I value the most is our alone time. I can speak for myself and my mom that sometimes we miss these times, when it was just the two of us in our cozy, beautiful home that she had put together all her own. This house that I keep referencing is purposeful. When I think of my life, this is because this is her most prized possession, which makes me proud. Growing up, our house was always decorated for each and every holiday to make the season more magical. She spent days carefully placing each decoration for her beautiful home. My mom never needs any credit because that's not what she does these for. She does it for her 3 girls so they can be happy. This comes in many forms, from decorating the house to bringing things 3 times a day to school when I forget them. Time and time again, whatever I needed was there. No matter how busy she was or how insignificant the problem, she was there, always there. I will forever remember my mom for her gorgeous blue eyes, courageous spirit, and work ethic, but most of all, her beautiful heart of gold. Every day before I leave for school, my mother says to me, "Be kind and make someone's day." This line is a perfect representation of the type of person my mom is, a kind, compassionate, intelligent, and beautiful yet classy woman. I someday hope I can be half the woman you are. So thank you. Thank you for the countless talks, sleepless nights where you worried for me, saving me, being an amazing role model, and most of all, being everything for me. I love you more than you'll ever know. Thank you.
Bennett Pissner is next. Bennett is also a junior and is 17 years old. He loves skiing and cheesesteaks. Bennett is thanking his grandfather today.
When we were assigned our final speech for the semester, a thank you speech, I instantly knew who I was going to talk about. As soon as Mrs. Chatterton announced that we were to thank someone who has greatly influenced in our lives, they popped right in my head. This person has always shown me how to be kind, generous, hardworking, and a great role model overall. I'm truly blessed to have him as one. Thank you, Grandpa, for always being there for me and teaching me how to be the best that I can. Ever since I was born, my grandpa has always been there for me, whether I needed a ride, some entertainment, or I just wanted to hang out. My grandpa is down for whatever. One of my favorite memories, and a great example of this, was when he would take me and my brother to the pool to go swimming with our cousins. He would also take us to the Y and was the first person to introduce me to the gym. My grandpa still goes to the Y, goes on walks, and even plays catch with me and my cousins at family gatherings. It is truly inspiring, and I thank him for always showing me to be persistent in whatever you do, and that I should always try to be the best version of myself that I can be. My grandpa is also one of the most philanthropic people that I know. After retiring from his day job, he got a volunteering position at a local church, moving around heavy boxes and couches. Even in his age, he would still donate most of his time to church sales, food drives, and in most recent years, and most importantly, his wife. My grandma unfortunately suffered from Alzheimer's disease and has since passed, but my grandpa would always be there for her. Doing little things and big things, he would always make sure to be there for my grandma with whatever she needed. All of the support he showed to my grandma and the community has taught me to always give back to those who may be less fortunate than you, and that it is important to put others before yourselves more often than not. The main reason I instantly thought of my grandpa when I was assigned this thank you speech was because he is such a great inspiration and an excellent role model. He has always shown me how to be the best human one can be, both physically and emotionally, whether it's donating his time, throwing a ball with his grandkids. He really is the best grandpa someone could ask for. And for that, I love you, Grandpa. Thank you.
Our third speaker of the afternoon is Joshua Ursua. Pardon me, Josh, I apologize. Josh is a junior. He is 16 years old, and he aspires to join the ROTC. He is here to thank family.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joshua Ursua. This is my final speech, so please enjoy. You know, when I was informed that our final assignment for public speaking was a thank you speech, I was a bit nervous. Not because of the whole final aspect of the speech, but because I didn't know who to thank. I mean, I've been blessed with so many good people in my life that it was so hard to choose just one I wanted to focus on. So when I was lying in my bed, thinking about who to devote this speech to, I thought about everything I had in life and why I was able to have it. And I thought of all the dreams I had and why I had ever dared to dream them. And among all the absolutely incredible people who I have met that have shaped me to become the person I am today, one stood out to me. The person who throughout my life has been a constant pillar of resilience and inspiration, my dad. My father is a great man, a veteran who has given 16 years of his life to fight for this country and to protect the people who reside within it. A man who, even after his service, works around the clock just to put food on the table for his wife and 3 sons. A man who would stop at nothing to make sure his family had the best life possible. A man of morals, a man of values, my father. And even if I don't see him as much as I want to, when he's hundreds of miles away working to provide, it only deepens my appreciation for the sacrifices he makes. Dad, you have taught me the values of commitment, determination, and loyalty. You've taught me this not through your words, but through your actions, because you embody these values in every waking moment of your life, whether it be your selflessness to your country or your iron will in the most desperate of times. Every single thing you do is something I can aspire to. Dad, I want you to know your legacy extends beyond your military years. It continues through the values that you have instilled in me. Because as I step into the path of service, I carry with me a torch you lit, a torch of duty, of honor, and the profound belief that one person can indeed make a difference. Thank you, Dad. You were there when I needed you most, and that meant the world to me. And I will do everything in my power to make sure I'm there when you need me. So here's to my dad, a hero in his own right, a man who's not just a father, but a mentor, whose influence transcends any distance that could come between us. You have shaped not just my present, but my entire future. And for that, I am eternally grateful. I love you, Dad. Thank you.
Amara Gilligan is next. 3 things to know about Amara are that she is resilient, she is creative and confident, and she loves to read. This afternoon, she thanks her mom.
Someone in my life who deserves the biggest thank you is my mother. While being a single parent for most of her life, that hasn't stopped her from being the most strongest and most influential person that I have ever met. She has taught me many valuable lessons in life, and I will never meet someone stronger than her. At a young age, I've always been close to my mom. She was the only person that I could trust. With not having my father in my life for the most part, the only person I could count on was my mother. As I really don't remember most things about my childhood, I do know that I was a very enthusiastic child and would say anything that would come to my mind, even if it would get me in trouble. Now, looking into the future, and with the year that has gone by, my mother has been an inspiration to me and has made me realize so many things in life. I'll never be able to thank her enough for all the things that she has done for me. Growing older helped the bond between me and my mom grow stronger, and she has helped raise me to become the person that I am today. And I'll be forever thankful for you. Even with the battles that she has faced in life, the one thing my mother will always do is be there for everyone else, even if her world is crashing down. Nine months ago, her life was changed forever. In the love of her life, and a father figure to me and my two siblings, and the father to my youngest sister passed away unexpectedly. And for 7 years, Emery was in our life. He was someone that was there for me like a father because my own wasn't capable. And seeing my mom have to conquer these battles has been heartbreaking to watch, but also I've seen how strong she is, and I look up to her so much, more than she'll ever know. And I came up here to tell you that I love you, and I'm really thankful for you. Thank you.
Now we come to Brendan Mercer. This year was Brendan Mercer's first year at Watertown as he joined us from IHC. Brendan Mercer loves sports and helping others and is going to study nursing in college. And Brendan Mercer is thanking his mom, dad, and Nana. And I always call him by his first and last name, which is why I'm doing that right now.
There are many people in my life who have shaped me into the person that I am today that I could say thank you to. They have all played a huge role in my upbringing and continue to change my life and continue to help me and guide me as I grow up and move on to new chapters in my life. So when I was told that our final we would be thanking someone who means a lot to us, I knew that people that I had to thank would be my family. Growing up, my family played the biggest role in shaping me into the person that I am today. Whether it's playing Legos and Xbox with my older brother for hours, constantly fighting with all three of my siblings, family game night that never quite ended well for anyone, or making my grandma talk to me for hours about the most random topics, they all played a major role in making me who I am today. The first person I wanted to thank is my mom. My mom is the best mom any kid could have ever asked for. Since the beginning of my life, she has been by my side, guiding me through every single challenge that life has thrown my way. Whether it's changing my diapers growing up or teaching me how to change diapers when my little siblings rolled along. Even helping me with my math homework because God knows I need it. She has always been there every single step of the way. My mom is one of the most hardworking and dedicated people I have ever met in my whole life, and she has taught me that nothing in this world comes without working hard and putting your all into it. She has shown me the ins and outs of what it is to be a man and be successful in my life. She has also taught me what it takes to be a loving and respectful man and how to treat a woman and make them feel special. Mistake after mistake, she has still loved me and supported me no matter what predicament I seem to have gotten myself into, even if she doesn't want to, because it happens way too often. So I just wanted to say thank you, Mom, for keeping this crazy family that we have in line and always making sure I am okay. Thank you for always giving me the best advice and for always cheering me up whenever I need it. I love you more than you could ever imagine. The second person I wanted to thank is my dad. If I had a phrase that best described my dad, it would be a family man. Everything that my dad has done in his life is for his family. He is the most hardworking and caring person I have ever met. With everything that has happened to him in his life, for him to still be the loving and caring father that he is makes me so beyond proud of him. He has been through war and so many other challenges and still continues to put everyone else's needs in front of his own and make sure that everyone else is okay before even thinking about himself. Whenever my mom has a house-altering idea one day, he is the first one on it just to make her happy. He even recently got a nail in his hand because of it. He is the reason I am who I am today, the reason I push myself to work hard and make a lot of money. Little does my dad know that I look up to him every single day. He is my role model, and he is the person that I aspire to be when I grow up. If I grow up to even be half the man that my dad is, I know I will live a great and happy life. Even if he loses his temper with me sometimes, I know it's just because he sees the potential in me and wants me to grow up and be successful in my life. He doesn't even care that I've called him by his first name for the last 3 years, even though everyone thinks it's super weird. So Bradley, I just want to say that I love you more than you know. Thank you for all our long talks in the car about my future and all of the crazy stories you have of your time growing up. Thank you for teaching me the sports that I have grown to love, and I could thank you all night, but I just want to say that I love you. And finally, I want to give the biggest thanks to my Nana. My Nana is amazing. Words cannot even begin to describe the woman that she is. She is the kindest and sweetest woman that I have ever met. Since I was born, she has been my best friend, and she always will be. Growing up, she has given me so many life lessons and has helped me grow into a very kind and caring person. Whether it's going for a walk at the creek and picking up the weirdest looking stick that I can find, or me helping her get whatever random object she insists she needs that she definitely doesn't, we always do it with a smile because we are together. As soon as I got my license, I found any excuse to go over to her house just to spend time with her. She loves going to Red Lobster just as much as I do, and one of my favorite memories with her is when I took her to Red Lobster only on my dime just so I could spend time with her. It was expensive as hell, but the laughs and the good memories that we made it worth every penny. We bond a lot over food. She does the cooking, and I do the eating. As a kid, she is to thank for my crippling ramen addiction because she made it for me so very often, and being with her and spending time with her are some of my fondest memories. Whenever I need to just go over there and say, hey, your daughter's being crazy, she was right there to listen to me and joke around with me and make me feel better. I will forever cherish the times that me and my Nana have had together, and I will tell my kids and their kids after that what she has taught me, and I will make sure nobody ever forgets you. Me and my grandma bond very heavily over the moon, and we'll text each other very often, telling each other to look at the moon, and we always say, I love you to the moon and back. My grandma will always be my best friend, and I will tell anyone that. My relationship with my Nana is the relationship that I cherish most in the world. So Nana, thank you very much for everything that you have done for me in my life, for taking care of me when I'm sick, for always letting me go over to your house just to spend time with you, for showering me with love and goodness. I love you to the moon and back. Thank you.
Our sixth speaker of the afternoon is senior Annette Gould. Annette is awesome and has great hair. Her favorite band is Alice in Chains, and she got voted best smile in class. Annette is here to honor her close friends.
I'm scared. Thank you. Words that are said every single day and oftentimes overlooked. I could thank a million people in my life, but I wanted to choose a few who have greatly impacted me and try to give a thank you that will actually mean something besides just two simple words that are objectively meaningless without a reason to back them up. Many people have written their speeches on family members, and I would like to do the same, but with my chosen family. Throughout my life, I've had many friends I considered and still consider family. While I still cherish the relationships I have with my biological family, my friends have always been my main pillar of support, and I'd like to recognize them for the impact they've had on my life. From playing on the playground and making YouTube videos together as young kids, to going through the awkward stages of middle school where friendships can really be put to the test, to high school drama and talking about the future and reminiscing on the past, having friends to go through the stages of life with is something that has always been really important to me. Having someone to rely on that truly understands the struggles of growing up and the emotions that come along with that. First, I would like to thank my best friend, Adori. Adori is like a sister to me and knows everything about me and my life. Without her, I don't know what I would do. Staying up late talking or just sitting in silence with her are some of my favorite memories. She's brought so many great things into my life, and I remember knowing her in 4th grade, and never would I imagine that she'd later become one of the most important people in my life. Sitting next to her in human anatomy and complaining about the work and feeling helpless, but at least we could make light of it by making dumb jokes. Going to the fair with her and thinking about how from that point on, she was going to be the person who I'd invite to every event and be the person I'd want to hang out with over everyone else. And the person I can say, they told me not to tell anyone, but I'm going to tell you too, because I trust her with everything. You understand me so well, and even when I just give you one look, you somehow know exactly what I'm thinking. And even when I do stupid stuff and you get mad at me, I know you'll always support me and be on my side. I'd also like to thank Adori's mother, Kathy, for welcoming me into her family and treating me like a daughter and letting me and Adori annoy her with repeating whatever catchphrases we're addicted to at the moment. I love you both endlessly, and you guys are the sister and mother models I needed this past year. Finally, I'd like to thank my friend Andrea. I've known Andrea since freshman year, and she's the only friend who stuck with me through our 1 million different friend groups and falling outs with other people. Andrea is my comfort person. She lets me rant about all my dumb drama. Even though she'd never talk bad about anyone, she still listens, which annoys me because, girl, why can't you just agree with me one time? But nope, Andrea is the sweetest soul you'll ever meet. I don't know anyone who has ever had a bad thing to say about her. She is the kindest and sweetest person I've ever known. I can go months without talking to her, and the moment I see her again, it's like we never went a day without talking. Thank you, Andrea, for teaching me that the love for a friend can be stronger than any other, and true friendship will last a lifetime. I can't wait to be the aunt to your future kids and still rant to you when we're both 80. Sometimes I will get in my head and overthink my friendships with people, thinking about whether or not they like being around me. Adori and Andrea are 2 people who I will never feel like I have to walk on eggshells around, or feel like I'm annoying them, because I know they love me just as much as I love them. Every time I get the chance to talk about them, I'll do it with a smile on my face, because I love to brag that they're my friends. Thank you, Adori, for always listening to me and letting me mess up your room every time I come over, even though you hate having an untidy room. And thank you, Andrea, for always letting me know how much you appreciate me and pretending to be my friend's mom that one time on the phone with my dad when I was somewhere I shouldn't have been. And thank you to all my friends over the years who have taught me a countless number of lessons that will stick with me forever. I love you all infinitely. Thank you.
Now, you may see on your program that next is Devin Connell. That was for our original date, but because we had to reschedule, Devin had something already planned, so he couldn't make it today. He had his final in class, and we just celebrated as a class. So up next is Kimberly D. Leonardo. Kim is 17 years old and graduating in June. She is not sure where she will be going in the fall, but she plans to get her doctorate in psychology. And here is Kim.
Taking a breath of fresh air. Finally seeing light after being in the darkness for so long. This is what my grandma is to me. She is my light, life, my best friend. My life has been an absolute roller coaster, but looking back on it all the pain, tears, frustration, has all become worth it when I have her to help me overcome the obstacles that I face. She has turned my pain into pleasure, my tears to laughter, and frustration into pure love and joy. I am very grateful to have this special woman with me today. As I have gotten older, I no longer get to spend quality time with her. I no longer need rides to school, practice, or even a friend's house. I genuinely wish I got to spend more time with her on a daily basis. The memories we make with the people around us should be valued. I will forever cherish the moments I have and will continue to make with her. Now that I am older, those little moments and memories aren't so little anymore. For any children here, always listen to the stories from the good old days. Always say I love you, overly say thank you, and always hug the ones you adore. One of my favorite things about my grandmother is her relationship with my grandfather. Although they love to bicker with each other, their love is strong and deep, filled with memories to treasure and keep. The love they share with one another is rare. It makes me deeply happy to catch them laughing together. I have never seen a couple so in love and so loyal to one another, like those two. And I hope to have a relationship just like theirs someday. My grandfather is a very lucky man to have such an angelic and compassionate woman in his life. And my grandmother is a very lucky woman to have such a strong and benevolent husband. I am so very grateful for my grandmother for not only supporting me, but for supporting the whole family. However, she wouldn't be able to do it without him. My grandparents are truly a blessing in my life. My mental health was at its lowest last year, but there's one specific reason why I kept pushing. It was all for her. She is the reason I decided to fight longer. I was able to go to prom last year, and it was a night to remember. More specifically because of the way my grandma looked at me. I remember coming and surprising her after prom due to the fact that I hadn't seen her prior. She looked shocked, if anything proud. She started to cry, and in that moment, I knew that it was all going to be okay. All those stressful moments didn't matter anymore. Just to know that she was proud of me for simply trying my best made my entire year suddenly seem okay. I will continue to push for you so I can continue to make you proud in every single moment of my life. The bond between my grandmother and I is unlike any other. We all have a certain thing we do with a certain someone. I run up to her after games and spin her around. It is my favorite thing to do, although it is definitely her least favorite. Unfortunately, she thinks I'm gonna drop her. Grandma, your love has turned me into the person I am today, and it will stay with me forever. Your grace, strength, and love are my inspiration, and I appreciate everything you do for me. I will pass on the lessons you taught me to my children and grandchildren. It means absolutely everything to me to see that you still have the arts and crafts I made for you when I was in elementary school. I have always wanted to follow in your footsteps for as long as I can remember, and although I may be older now, I still rely on your advice and wisdom. You are the thread that holds this family together. Thank you for being an incredible source of love, guidance, and inspiration in my life. I am forever grateful for you, and I love you more than words can express. You have shown me what it means to live a life of kindness, fun, and generosity. Never forget your worth and how much you mean to me. Thank you.
We now come to Daniel Cook. Dan is an inspired musician, with his favorite band being Anthrax, and a proud Native American of the Mohawk tribe. He is also a fighting game aficionado. This afternoon, Dan thanks his family.
It's crazy to think how It's crazy to think how quickly time flies. 1 minute you're in a high chair drinking a nice cup of chocolate milk. Next thing you know, you're about to graduate high school. Time is something that we wish we all stop, but time waits for no one. It keeps going, no matter if you want more time on vacation or you want more time with someone you love. Time, and by extension, life, is cruel and unfair. But we, as humans, we still persevere through all of it. So, today I would like to thank my family. First, I would like to thank my mom and dad. Although they are separated, they still each have the same amount of importance to me. You two have shaped me for the person I am today. My mom, my speaking patterns and emotion bonding, and my dad, with my artistic skills, specifically music, and my thinking. To my mom specifically, thank you. Thank you for always being there for me, no matter what I did. I'll forever remember that little poem you used to tell me when I was a kid before bed. That being, I love you too, always and forever, no matter what, okay? Heck of sleepies. Next, I'd like to thank my dad. Although I don't believe everything you told and taught me, I will always listen to you to anything you want me to know. Whether it's for me to getting better, talking about music, or about the cool and latest new video game that just released. And I thank both of you for just loving me. I know that other people don't have the fortune to have a mother and a father who both love them, but I was lucky enough not to have just my parents who love me, but who supported me no matter what I've been through. Next, I would like to thank the rest of my family and friends. I would love to talk and thank each one of you who has shaped me, but that'll be way too long. For after all, we have a long family. So, thank you, Dash, Papa, Samantha, Sarah, Jason, Tony, G, Gabby, Peyton, and Alicia. And to those who are no longer with us, thank you for giving memories to last a lifetime. I would like to thank you all for coming, but before I go, I'd also like to thank this class. You all have helped me in my confidence and social interactions, even though I still sit by myself during class. But for one example, during my job, I used to be like a no one. I had no one to talk to in my job and no one knew me. But after this class, I basically friends with everyone. And even the people who are not friends with me, they still come up to talk to me because everyone knows me. So thank you for helping me in that regard. And finally, here's my last and final thank you.
Jada N speaks next. Jada loves to sleep, but she is awake and ready today. She also loves to eat food anytime, all the time. Today she is thanking eternity and lyric.
That's funny she said that because I did bring McDonald's. I first want to start off by saying how grateful I am for this opportunity and to be able to share how thankful I am to share all the wonderful things and experiences I had this semester. I had a voice but didn't really know how to use it or express myself the right way until I took public speaking. Talking to a large crowd without being nervous is very hard and it's a very difficult task to achieve, but I was able to accomplish it with my classmates and a teacher, a very special teacher of mine, Miss Chatterton. But the real reason why I'm on the stage is because first I want to say thank you to my best friend, Eternity. Even though she wasn't able to make it today, she's still been there since day one. No matter how weird or silly and annoying I was, she always tolerated me, which somewhat surprised me because if I was her, I would have walked away. When I was in the hospital and I was at my lowest point in time, I didn't really care about myself or what happened to me. She stepped in and kept me going and told me I had a purpose in life and that I should start putting myself first. Our relationship wasn't always sweet, but I'm glad she never gave up on me and always made sure that I was okay and that I was normal to a certain extent. Which leads me to my sister, my day one, my best friend, and my enemy at times, Lyric Nellens. Even though we bump heads and we didn't always agree with each other, regardless of our differences, we were always close as ever, and I wouldn't exchange that for the world. Every ups and every downs, every adventure I ever had, she was right there beside me to experience it all. You would think we were twins the way she acted. The only difference is she's gay and I'm not. But I don't care. Fruity people are the coolest and the funniest. Some of my jokes I stole from her. But we learned what real love is from the most amazing person of all, my dearest mother. Over the years, we didn't have the closest relationship, but she was always there. No matter what mistakes I've made and no matter how much attitude I had with her, and whatever I put her through, she was there, and I'm happy she didn't turn away from me. As much as she struggled and wanted to give up on me as well, she held on by the grace of God. I was blessed with a stranger I could happily call my mother, and she proudly called me her daughter. Knowing this gave me the strength to keep going in life, and I wouldn't want to continue life without her. Before she was married, she was single. She was a single mother of 6 kids, and my dad was never in my life. But seeing the growth in all 6, one day she will get super old and we'll look back at all the memories we had together, including the ups and downs. She could probably say that she made it, and that she accomplished what some would say impossible. She made it possible. We never had a lot of money, but one thing she had was faith, courage, and most of all love in her heart. This woman of God always believed in her kids and her ability of motherhood. As much as she would like to throw hands with her kids, and as much as we frustrated the heck out of her, she was my hero. She was my friend, and I would give anything to shout to the world what an amazing woman she is. Thank you for loving me and not giving me away. She looked at me, instead of saying I was a mistake, she saw me as a blessing, but I'm more blessed knowing the hard work and dedication she put towards me. If Christmas was a person, it would be the 3 people I've mentioned, but the biggest gift I ever received is a person I call mom and the hero I called friend. Thank you. I love you all, and thank you for putting up with me all these years. Thank you.
Tenth is senior Sydney Manarina. Sydney helps youngsters in the community as she works at the Fairgrounds Y teaching gymnastics, and she plans to attend JCC in the fall. Today, Sydney will be thanking her cousin Gia.
There are 7.8 billion people in the world. 10% of them have blue eyes, 2% have green eyes, 3% have gray, 3% have gray, and 70% have brown eyes. One happens to be my beautiful brown-eyed best friend, Giovanna Marie. When I first heard of this assignment, Gia was the first person that came to my mind. Who better to thank than the person that comes in my room just to fart, then instantly walk out? My life has been full of ups and downs, and these past couple of years have not always been easy, but what makes them bearable is you. Our therapeutic talks, movie nights, and McDonald's runs at 1 in the morning are my favorite moments. You are my best friend, my safe place, and the only person whose clothes I like to steal on the regular. You fill my life with gratitude, and I will appreciate that forever. The memories we have made, I cherish, and when my future children ask me to tell them stories, our stories will be the first that come to mind. As we both come to the end of our high school journey, I hope that this special bond never grows apart, and when I tell my children those stories, you will be telling them with me. Another person I would like to thank is the person that created Gia, not only for bringing my best friend into this world, but for taking me in when I felt I had nowhere to go. Lisa, you are the backbone to my life, and I couldn't be more grateful to have someone like you in it. I love you both, forever and always. Thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Stanley Jean Charles is our next speaker. Stan was born in Haiti and moved to Watertown High in April of last year. Stan is hardworking and determined on both the soccer field and in class, and he is absolutely the most improved member of our public speaking class. Today, he is thanking his mom.
Hi everyone. Today is a different day for me because my final speech is about the person that's mean the world to me. Mom, I just want to let you know you mean the world to me. Only as dear as yours, give so unselfishly. The many things you done all the time that you were there help me know deep down inside how much you care. I know I don't say a lot, but I want you to know that you are the most important to me in this world. I'm so grateful for the way I was raised. You were never afraid to be my mother, to put your foot down, to teach me right from wrong, to make sure I did my best. You always let me know I had a mama who cared about her son, who was there for me no matter what. I'm in awe of the sacrifice you made to bring me and my sister up. I feel honored and privileged to have been your son. I don't need a Mother's Day to tell you how grateful I am to have a mama like you. As I write a message to say thank you, I can't stop crying because I have realized how much you have given up in your life to make me smile and give me everything I need. No matter how hard I become, I will never shy away from saying I love you so much, Mom. Maman, moi juste veux faire qu'on ait ouvert du monde là pour moi. Seulement un cœur vraiment pile, tant que tabac sans égoïsme. Quel que soit l'âge moi venu, un pape j'aime timide, dis-moi vraiment pile, maman. Thank you.
So to finish up the first half of our speeches, we have senior Jack Mara. Jack is a devoted member of Stage Notes. He is a Taurus, and he loves frozen Cool Whip. He also is home sick. So you are going to be watching Jack's speech on the telly. Okay? Great.
When we were told to write a thank you speech, I genuinely was struggling to figure out who to thank. I would think about all the great teachers I've had, my parents, my siblings, my mentors, and everyone else in my life who has shaped me into the person I am today. And while I wish I could thank each and every one of them, Mrs. Chatterton made it clear to thank one person. So I kept thinking, who am I going to thank? And all these amazing people in my life would come to mind. But there was one person in particular who kept coming to my mind. And when they did, I knew I had to make this speech about them. Today, I will be thanking my friend, Daniel Maurer. Danny and I have been friends since first grade, but we started getting really close at Wiley. We were both in Mrs. David's 6th grade class, and I would force him to do everything with me in that class. I remember there was an assignment on ancient structures or something like that, and Danny and I decided it would be a great idea to make a rap song about pyramids. So that is exactly what we did. He rapped about a pyramid, and I beatboxed behind him. We would always find ways to talk to each other during class. And if we couldn't talk during class, we would find each other during recess, and we would talk right up until we had to go back to class. Fast forward to Case Middle School, where we played modified soccer together for both 7th and 8th grade. I'm sure Danny hated it, but I would always make him be my two-touch partner or my long pass partner. I just wanted to kick a ball around with my friend. We did the musicals together as well. We did Seussical in 7th grade, and we were the Wickersham brothers together. And I remember always being mad at Danny because he would miss rehearsal to go to basketball practice. In 8th grade, we did Mary Poppins, and he decided to not play basketball that year, so I didn't get mad at him as often. During the middle of our 8th grade year, COVID shut down the world for months. This meant that I couldn't see my friends for a while. We could still text each other, but it wasn't the same. The COVID restrictions were lifted in August of 2020, and the first thing I did was hang out with Danny and a couple other buddies. It was like quarantine never happened, and we started our conversation right back up where we left it in March. High school is where Danny and I started getting really close and spent most of our school day together. It happened that we were taking most of the same classes through all 4 years of high school, so our schedules were very similar. We took French 2, 3, and 4, chemistry, AP English, band, choir, and public speaking. We always found a way to find each other during school. During our freshman and sophomore year, I got into baseball, which is Danny's main sport. He was super supportive to me during that time and would always invite me to come practice pop flies or ground balls or hitting off the tee in his driveway. He made it on the varsity team his freshman year, while I didn't. But he still came to my games and supported me and would help me if I was struggling with anything in baseball. Danny would invite me over to practice every week just so I could get better. I looked through mine and Danny's old text messages, and we talked about playing baseball 78 times. Something that Danny and I both love is Spider-Man. Spider-Man has a best friend named Harry. When I was younger, I always wanted to have a Harry. But as I have grown, I have realized that I don't need a Harry, because I have a Danny. Danny has always been there for me. He has seen me on my worst days. He has seen me on my best. But no matter what, he listens to what I say. He helps me through my hard times, and he makes me a better friend and a better person. I know I will always be there for him, whether he needs help talking about college, he wants to go to McDonald's, or he just wants to play catch with a friend. I know that the end of high school doesn't mean the end of our friendship, and I am thankful to have a lifelong friend in Danny. Thank you, Danny.
All right, folks, so we're going to take just a 10-minute break before we start the second half with our remaining students. So lots of delicious goodies back there, thanks to all of your generosity. Please go get them. Fill up. There's a lot of great stuff back there. Do not be shy. And we'll reconvene in 10 minutes. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to start our second half. So to kick off the second half, we have George Weir. George is a captain on the swim team, and he is president of Whiz Quiz. He also enjoys pineapple on pizza. George thanks his mom this afternoon.
When I told my mother that I was writing my thank you speech about her, she was initially flattered, but also kind of confused. "What's the point?" she said. "All that I ever did for you was no more than I was obligated to as a mother." I didn't believe her when she said that. How could she think that way? How could this person who brought me into this world, given me more than I could ever want, and raised me into the man I am today, possibly have the mindset that she didn't do anything out of the ordinary? Of course, every parent needs to provide for their children, but I believe my mother has done more than that. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for your patience when I deserved none, your kindness when I was unkind, and your energy when I was tired. Thanks, Mom. When I was a kid, I could not stop reading. My appetite for books would cut into my social life, grades, and sports. While others might have tried to stop me from reading so much by taking my books away, my mom never did. She encouraged my hobby when she didn't have to, and by doing so, created my drive for learning and education. I consider reading to be part of who I am and who I choose to be. My erudite passion would not exist today without the positive influence of my mother. I consider myself to be one of the luckiest people in the world. I think I have the most wonderful friends around. Compared to the conditions I see around the world, my house is a palace that some would kill to live in. I never go to sleep hungry and always have what I need. Today, there are a multitude of people, much like you and me, that do not have a mother. I would like to call to attention that fact. I've always lived in awareness, while that there is someone who has it better than you, someone always has it worse in return. My mother, and I presume the mothers of most everyone else here, hammered that into me when she told me to finish dinner. "There are starving people who would love to have that," she would say. That mindset truly changed me, and I will always remember just how lucky I am to have what I need. Anyone who knows me know that one of my greatest passions is swimming. I thank my mother for introducing me to it at a young age. Through the years, the sport of swimming has given me an understanding of hard work, dedication, and success. Being successful is never easy, but if it were easy, everyone would do it. I love the sport, and it has left an indelible effect on me and my life. Without it, I would not be the person that I am today. Therefore, the person who drove me to practice every day through rain, snow, and everything in between, whether it be 7 p.m. or 7 a.m., is responsible for changing my life. That person is my mother. I think my mom loves me as well. Even though she lost me in the Camden Yards baseball stadium, as well as the Museum of Play in Rochester, she found me eventually. I always did my best not to lose myself in strange places, but I could always rely on my mom to find me if I did. Though I was never the most responsible kid, I know that I was never actively trying to run away. And that's a mark to my mom's love and care. Today, I am thankful for many people in my life. I deeply appreciate and value all that my family and friends have done, whether it be giving me a helping hand when needed one or a simple, kind gesture. I will never forget what everyone has done for me, and primarily my mother. My relationship with her is one of the most important in my life. I love my mother with all of my heart, and I hope you all love yours. In today's world, love is needed more than ever. My mom has given me more than I could ever ask for, and I am eternally grateful for all that she has done. Finally, I hope that you've been lucky enough to try one of her homemade pumpkin muffins. If not, I'm sure she'd offer to make you a fresh batch. Thank you.
Now we have Ada Lugo. Ada is a lieutenant for her Criminal Justice II program. Following her time at WHS, she will be attending SUNY Canton to pursue a bachelor's degree in legal studies. Today, she thanks her mom, dad, and Connor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I will talk about some of the most important people in my life and thank them for everything they have done. Gotta get one of these ready. Even if you haven't met these people, you're going to genuinely wish that you have. Without any of these people, I'm sure I'd be a completely different person than I am now. Without further ado, I'd like to start by thanking my parents. Mom, thank you for always cultivating my creativity. My mom is one of the most creatively inclined people I have ever met and is the reason why art is so important to me today. Ever since I was a baby, you have introduced music and art into my daily life. I remember when I was younger and you'd play your guitar and sing while I was taking a bath, or when you'd let me finger paint all day to no end. Even now, I will stop and listen to you playing your guitar or piano in your music room, letting the entire house fill with music. Another great thing that I've learned from my mom is my sense of style. Although we have different tastes, you have helped me find mine. And even if we have different styles, I'm still wearing her dress today. Thank you for always taking the time out of your day to spend it with me. I'd say some of our best quality time is when we're thrifting. Even after all the times you made me put the shirt I fell in love with back, just because of the smallest bleach stain nobody would even notice. Mom, you are the best mom out there, and you will always be my best friend. The next person I will be thanking is my dad. I'm sorry. If you have ever met my dad, you would know he's a very hard worker. Definitely the hardest worker I know. My dad, who is the best HVAC technician out there, works extremely hard every day to, quote, save the old ladies from the cold, quote, as he'd always say. He's always so loyal and would do just about anything to help me, even if it's just lending his ear to listen. I will never forget those days in Delaware where you'd take me to your RC car scrimmages. On the way there, you'd grab me a bug juice and let me sit in the passenger seat of your Celica. Although my only job was flipping your car when it was upside down, I will always remember the smell and the blast I had every time. Even as I got older, when I was at my lowest, you'd take me to a late night drive to get some snacks and talk it out. Again, thank you, Dad, for the incredible support, and I love you. Next, I want to thank the man who deserves the large thank you for always having to deal with me. My boyfriend of a year, Connor Phillips, is the most genuine and kind-souled person I've ever met. Thank you for always being there to listen when I'm having a bad day or giving me a laugh when I need it. Some of our best spent time together is when we played games together, both the video and board kind. It's become one of the things I look forward to most in my days, even after all the times you cheated in Skippo. Connor also happens to be an incredible gift giver and has given me some of the best presents I've ever received, including jewelry like the earrings I'm wearing today, Bath & Body Works lotion, and even merch from my favorite band. He is effortlessly thoughtful and caring to everyone he meets. I honestly don't know what I'd do without you. Ever since I started dating you, I've learned so much about you, and you helped me learn even more about myself along the way. And for my last thank you, I'd like to thank the audience. Thank you all for your respectful listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed my speech. Thank you.
Jordan Calhoun speaks next. Jordan is a junior member of our class. Although when we started this class in September, Jordan was unsure of herself as a speaker, she is truly a stronghold in the class. Her genuine, kind smile and quirky wit are so refreshing. Jordan honors her mom and dad and friend today.
I say thank you every day, so much I lost count. Although I mean it every time I say it, all those thank yous seem small in comparison to today. When I learned our final speech would be to say thank you, It was an easy choice picking the people it would be directed to, my parents. My mom and dad are easily two of the strongest people I know, and they inspire me every day to follow my dreams. My parents have never faltered in being there to support me, and that means so much more than they know. My dad is such a resilient and remarkable man. In the past year alone, I've watched him make his dreams a reality and build his business from the ground up, and it has been so inspiring to watch. Even when something goes wrong, he always seems to find a solution. My dad has always been there to listen, and if I'm in a bad mood, he always has a way of getting me to laugh. And when I was in the worst mood after getting a cast at the beginning of summer, he made it better by getting a kitten who I got to name Juno. My dad always reassures me he's proud of me, even when I doubt myself. And he should know I'm proud of him too. I couldn't ask for a better dad, and I am so grateful. The same can be said for my mom, as she is truly a remarkable woman. I am constantly growing prouder of her every day. She picked herself back up after every situation and has come back stronger. I like to believe I got my overflowing empathy from my mother, as I don't know anybody more empathetic than her. My mom is always there to understand how I'm feeling, even when I won't say, and she always makes me feel better. My mom has given me more than I can ever give back, and I hope she knows how much I cherish her every day and how beautiful she is. Even when I say things I don't mean or act out, my parents never blame me. I wanted to take this opportunity to really remind them how thankful I am and how much I love them. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. Don't you ever doubt it. Lastly, I want to thank someone who is family to me, even if not by blood, my best friend, Ray. You constantly tell me how you worry we won't stay friends or something will happen, but this is me declaring that you're stuck with me. I don't know what I'd do without my best friend. Ray is one of the most genuine people I know, and he doesn't give himself enough credit for being an amazing friend. He's always there to talk to, he's always there to listen, and he's certainly there to humor me when I need to rant. Or I'm trying to get him to watch my new favorite show. Having moved so much in the past, I never got the chance to have a best friend, and now I can't imagine saying anyone is my best friend but Ray. He's been a constant I can rely on these last few years, and I will keep reminding him how much he means to me until he has no doubt. I am so thankful to have such amazing people in my life. Every day I strive to be the best person I can because of them, and I hope it shows. Thank you.
Up next is Lily Johnson. Lily, like the majority of her classmates, is a senior and will be attending college in the fall. She plans to major in social work and minor in music. Lily is here to thank a special family member.
So this is take number 10 on my speech. I was shocked at how difficult it would be to thank someone important in my life, not because of the speech itself, but whom it was going to be about. I spent days trying to figure out who I wanted to dedicate the speech to, and as much as I could thank so many role models in my life, there was one that my heart kept telling me to write about. I'm so grateful that our speech got rescheduled and that they can be here today. So Dad, this one's for you. My dad is one of the most important people in my life. The bond we have created over the past 17 years have been so special and built through lots of ups and downs. My dad was very young when I was born and didn't get to do as much because he needed to support me. My father's selflessness is incomparable. He worked 3 jobs when I was younger and sometimes only got to see me for an hour. He sacrificed not only time with me and my mom, but his personal life as well. But that didn't matter to him. The only thing he cared about was that his little girl grew up supported and loved unconditionally, and he has made that happen then and now. As I got older, he no longer worked 3 jobs, but the one job he did have involved harsh hours. There would be nights he wouldn't get home until 3 in the morning, but he would still get up at 7:30 to walk me to school, even though we lived across the street. He valued the time we had together and knew how much it meant to me. Due to the times he worked prevented him from going to some of my sporting events. I remember coming home from gymnastics meets and begging my mom and grandma to see him at work so I could show him my awards. And every time I sprinted into the restaurant and jumped in his arms, excited to show him my accomplishments. And he hugged me as hard as he could, smiling. You could tell he was proud of his daughter. Over the years, he has worked different jobs that allow him to go to my meets and games. And let me tell you, he goes all out. The support he gives me is remarkable. He will paint his face, wear the heaviest purple and white overalls, put a swim cap on, and even jump in the pool at Frontier Leagues, ruining his pair of Nike Dunks. He is the only one I hear when I do my turns, and that motivation is beyond appreciated. As I stated before, the bond my dad and I have is indestructible. A couple years ago, I started calling him homie, and since then, he calls me Lil Homie. I think I call him that more than I call him Dad. We have a thumb war every night before I go to bed, and I always lose, but one day I swear I will beat him. He doesn't think so, but it'll happen. Before I got my license, he and I blasted music in the car. We share the same music taste, and it was always so fun to jam out for the 5-minute trips to Tops. The littlest things always mean so much to my dad, and from that, he has taught me to appreciate the small things and value the life that I am able to live and strive to help others who aren't as fortunate as I am. And I'm grateful to have that inspiration daily. One thing I have always admired about my dad is he's the only male in our house, especially when living with me and my mom. We're both a lot. He's definitely the mediator and helps keep the peace in our house. But not only does he keep both of us sane, he provides like no other and has taught me how I should be treated by a man. He will do anything for my mom, whether that may be a 10 o'clock trip to the store for a piece of cake, getting her gas, or a Dunkin' run to get her a coffee before he goes to work. He seriously does anything she needs or wants. And he does the same for me. I have an addiction to French onion hell of a good dip, and I had bought some to bring to my grandma's house. And we got to her house, my dad had left, and I realized I left it in our fridge at home. I called him, and within 10 minutes, he showed up with the dip in his hand. He could have told me to just suck it up, but instead he wasted his gas to make sure I was satisfied. My dad is one of the few people I can talk to and tell him anything. The conversations and advice he gives me, I cherish every day. He has helped me through really difficult times and sometimes gets me out of punishments. One skill my dad has is understanding 2 sides to anything. He always gives the benefit of the doubt. Last year was a really rough year for me as an athlete, and when I would talk to him about it, it always seemed like he wasn't hearing me and my issues. As he would try to make me realize that what the other people involved may be thinking. Until one day I couldn't help but wonder why it felt like he wasn't hearing me. And he instantly felt terrible. He reassured me that he was hearing me, but always tries to put in perspective someone else's feelings in view to a story. That characteristic of understanding 2 sides and trying to see the good in everyone is something I applaud greatly. So Dad, thank you for all these things, the memories we have made and the ones yet to come. Thank you for the talks when I need you there. The advice at my worst points, the reassurance when I'm feeling down on myself, the compliments over little things like my hair, my outfit, or my shoes. Thank you for the never-ending support and through high school, sports, and soon college in the future. Keep being you, homie. I love you. Thank you.
Now we have Evan Otot. Evan is a senior also. He is a captain of the cross-country team and an esteemed musician, having performed in multiple school musicals as well as lending his talents to stage notes. Today he thanks a few people who mean a great deal to him.
What is family? The dictionary defines it as a group of parents and their children living together as a unit. However, I like to think that it describes a group of people who will always have each other's backs and always be there for one another. I'm very appreciative of my family, as my brother has always been someone I could look up to and who I could use as an example of what to do or not to do in situations. My parents have also always been there for me and helped me improve in everything I do. Although I do love my biological family and am very thankful for them each and every day, I would like to thank a few people who are not my real family, but feel like it. First of all, I feel it is necessary to give some background information on how I met my friends and some of the events that caused all of us to become so close. Sadly, I did not go to elementary school with any of them, since they were not cool enough to be Knickerbocker Bears. However, I did meet a couple of them during my elementary school years. Jonah Stone was the first of my friends I met, since we did swim lessons together when we were young. However, I would not go on to be a swim prodigy like Jonah has. Near the end of elementary school, I got to be a part of Watertown High's production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat as part of the 4th grade kids choir. Jonah was in this with me, and so too was Jack Mara, which is when I first met him. At the time, I knew of Jack, since he and his family have always been very involved in the community, but I had never formally met him. Finally, in 5th grade at H.C. Wiley Intermediate School, I met Danny Maurer, and both Danny and Jack played percussion with me, so that is how the friendship first started to form. Jonah, on the other hand, was in my class both years, but I did not talk to him much, since at the time I thought I was one of the cool kids, but newsflash, I was not. Luckily, I got another opportunity in 7th grade, since all 4 of us did the school musical together. That year's musical, Seussical, was my favorite musical I had been part of for a long time. We continued to do musicals every year, with Jack, Jonah, and I also joining stage notes the first years we were each able to. I also played soccer with Danny and Jack, although we all ended up quitting, and all 4 of us played baseball as well, and all of us quit that too, except for Danny. We have always been a part of chorus and band as well, even if our instruments changed at times. I also got the pleasure of being on the cross-country team these past 2 years with Jonah and Danny, thanks to Jonah's relentless convincing, even going on to become Class A champs back in October. I feel that with each of them, I have had a moment where I realized they would always have my back. For Jonah, I would say it was during Rent when we were small roles, so most of the time we were just goofing off backstage. For Jack, I think it was when we both made it into all-state mixed chorus and got to spend a few days in Rochester, where we sang more than we slept. Finally, with Danny, I would say it was soccer season in 10th grade, when many people thought it was funny to give push-ups to the scrawny, barely 100-pound kid, but Danny would always stick up for me. With this year being my senior year, I've realized how much all 3 of them truly mean to me. So I've been trying to make the most out of the last year of high school we have together. One of those things was the show that we are all a part of this fall, Newsies. Not only was it great to do another musical with all my friends, but it was also amazing to see Jack live out his dream role and how much it meant for him to get to play Jack Kelly. Although I played a small role and the dancing was quite difficult, Newsies was easily the best show I have been a part of. I cannot wait to see what the rest of the school year has in store, and I hope that my friendship with them will last long after we leave this building. Thank you.
Danny Maurer is our next speaker. Danny is the varsity baseball team captain, the senior class vice president, and a former TJ Maxx employee. He is here to thank someone special to him.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Danny Maurer, and I'm a senior at Watertown High School. I would first like to thank Ms. Chatterton for being such a good teacher and helping all of us grow this year. I would also like to take a moment to thank my parents, because even though the speech isn't about them, I could have been up here all day telling you how great they are and how they helped me become the person I am today. So thank you, Mom and Dad. There's so many people that have helped me make an impact on my life as I've grown up, specifically in high school. One of these people is here tonight, but he's not here because I asked him to come. In fact, he doesn't even know I'm thanking him until this moment. Some of you might have noticed, others might have said hi, but if you didn't know before, there's this guy back there that's holding a camera, and I'm here to thank him. And now that he does know I'm thanking him, he should know that it was pretty hard keeping a secret, because I wrote this speech in his room, sitting right next to him. And I even printed it off last week right in front of him. But hopefully it was still as much of a surprise as I planned it to be. His name is Michael Shanley. He was born in 1984, graduated from Carthage High School and Potsdam, and worked as a technician at Big Apple Music before moving here to the high school. But none of that matters. What does matter is that on the first day of my freshman year, standing at about 4 feet and 10 inches tall, I walked into the AV room, completely terrified, but ready to sign up for something I had always wanted to do, the morning announcements. I remember seeing Mr. Shanley before that day, both from when he helped out with the musicals and through my mom, who also works in the district. Before I could even state my business, he spotted me and said, "Hey bud, you here to sign up for AV?" I told him yes, wrote my name down on a ripped sheet of paper, and the rest is history. This year, I was elected to be the president of the AV Club. I started out with no friends to do the announcements with, and now I know the name of every single kid I see on that TV. I never knew how much one place or one person could change me so much. But a simple good morning or a little smile from Mr. Shanley helped me realize that I mattered, and I can make other people feel like they're mattered too. I would also like to thank Miss Jones, because from the day she parked her desk on the other side of the AV room, we've been best friends. I'll always cherish the memories I made with her and the very therapeutic conversations we had. And for those of you who don't know, her middle name is Lakeisha. It only took me a few hundred guesses to finally find that out, but now it's my favorite thing to bring up. Last year, my junior year, was a really hard time for me mentally. I struggled to find people who genuinely cared about me, and I struggled to recognize the few that did care. My optimistic self was slowly becoming less and less outgoing, and I wasn't able to open up about my feelings to more than a couple people. Many hours were spent in the AV room, crying on the inside and occasionally on the outside. I skipped more classes than I care to admit, and sometimes I'm not sure if Mr. Shanley knew whether I was in for a study hall or a French class. Nonetheless, he knew when I was feeling down and distracted me. I would need a notebook to keep track of how many games we came up with last year. We would use a ping pong ball as a baseball and a cardboard bat to play some of the most intense baseball games and home run derbies you've ever seen. We would juggle a soccer ball, shoot hoops with a bouncy ball, and come up with our own games, like miniature can jam, or this one I like to call, see how many times we can hit Miss Jones' computer with a hacky sack before she yelled at us. But she never did yell. She just smiled and threw it back at me, because sometimes I don't know if she knew whether I could handle being yelled at. I didn't end up telling my parents and my family about how I was feeling at that point until later on in the year, and sometimes after school I wasn't quite ready to go home yet. So there were also countless nights where Mr. Shanley and I would do work, play more games, or just talk. I think one time I remember getting picked up close to 7 o'clock. My mom always tells Mr. Shanley, "Thanks for raising our kids." This sounds funny, but it's also very true, because who knows where the three of us would be without him. Sometimes I wonder where Charlie is after school. He's in the AV room. This year, being a senior, I've been trying to savor every moment that I can with my friends. This includes Mr. Shanley. He may not have accepted my Facebook friend request yet, but at least he can be my real-life friend. He doesn't have a choice. This year, we've probably texted each other about 500 times about doing the morning announcements and AV Club related stuff, but it's probably double that if you were to ask how many times we've sent jokes to each other. Over Christmas break, Mr. Shanley, myself, and a few other students remodeled the AV studio. The first day, it was just Mr. Shanley and I. He taught me how to use a wood saw. We built an entire structure to hang drywall on, and he brought in a little speaker to play some music on. I think he knew that I wasn't the biggest fan of hard rock music, so he switched it to some 2018 pop hits. This is just another example of how he's willing to go off of what he wants to make someone else happy. He also ordered us a large pepperoni pizza from Mr. Sub, and that made it all worth the hard work. Sometimes I think about where I would be without Mr. Shanley. I wonder why God chose to set him right there in front of me, and I wonder if our school would be able to function without him. Actually, I don't wonder that. I know that it wouldn't. I wonder why more people don't take a minute out of their day to say thank you. I wonder how much Mr. Shanley gets paid, but even if it's $1 million, this district would still be getting one hell of a deal. In all of these what ifs, I come to the same realization. This school needs Mr. Shanley. The world needs more Mr. Shanleys. But most of all, I need Mr. Shanley. I need his smile. I need his sense of humor. I need his insane ability to be good at anything he touches. I need his brain, and I need his heart. I needed all those late night talks and the check-ins he did to make sure I was okay. I needed an escape from my problems. I needed his kindness for me and his kindness for everyone that walked into his room, even if they had some of the meanest looks on their faces or reeked of marijuana. I need to make sure that I stay in touch with one of the greatest men I've ever known when I go away to college next year. Mr. Shanley, thank you for being you. I love and appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Thank you.
And for our final speaker of the afternoon, we have senior Antonio Marzano. Antonio is a skilled lacrosse player and a lover of travel. Today, he thanks his best friend.
I wanted to take this time to not only thank a person in my life, but the person that I cannot live life without. You were there with me on the day that God whispered my existence. You were the first one to hold me, to keep me warm, to keep me safe. As a little boy, I remember our walks around town, our trips to the beaches, and our weekly visit to the farmer's market so I could grab my kettle corn. You were always doing the things that made me happy, despite the circumstances. You were always filled with joy, immediately making the worries go away for me and my siblings. You always made sure I knew the importance of hard work, using my talents to do well in school, having good manners with anyone I met. I remember youth soccer at the Y. You always gave me congrats and made me feel like I was the best goalie in the world, although I let in most of the goals. You always reminded me to play as hard as I could, while also having as much fun as I could. You always gave me comfort when my little mind wandered, giving me simple, quick-witted responses my mind put at ease. As the years went on, more and more of life's challenges came my way, but you were, and still are, always by my side. Whenever I'm knocked down, you're there to pick me up, wipe the dirt off my chest, and tell me everything will be all right. Tell me God has a plan for me, and that the path to happiness and success will not be blocked by any earthly troubles. Your love is always with me, even if you are not. Like the sun to a meadow, you give me the light to grow. You give me the ability to harbor a loving attitude through the rough seas. I couldn't imagine life without you, our morning coffees, your smile before I go off to work or school, your hopefulness for my happiness, your endless love regardless of opinions. I wouldn't be the man I am today without your love, your laughter, and your sport. Mama, I love you and thank you.
All right, folks, that's our final. Big round of applause for all these amazing kiddos. You guys did so well. I'm so proud of you all. Okay, I'm going to give out your awards now. Have you been dying to know what they all mean? Yes? Okay. So, Finley, you're up first. You got the cheese. Come on up. I haven't said what it's for yet. Okay. So the cheese award goes to a student who has great style and is a sharp dresser. Finley Swartz. Woo! All right, Bennett. Bennett got the cookie. The cookie award goes to a student who is one smart cookie. Congratulations to Bennett. Also, this gives you insight into how terrible my humor is. Are you guys figuring that out on the second one? Okay. Josh, the beat. Okay. The beat award goes to a student whose character and integrity are hard to beat. Congratulations to Josh. All right, Amara, you're up next. The apple. The apple award goes to a student who is kind to the core. Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Okay, Brendan Mercer. The blueberry. Okay. The Blueberry Award goes to a student who is very special. You're welcome. Annette, the ice cream. Any guesses? Okay, where did I put it? Here it goes. Okay. The ice cream award goes to a student who has a super chill personality. You guys, should I go on the road? With my jokes? Good job. You're welcome. All right. Kim had to leave for a basketball game, so she will get hers in school. Dan, the cantaloupe. You're up next. Okay. The cantaloupe award goes to a student who was won in a melon. Congratulations to Dan. And you have a whole thing of cantaloupe. Okay, it's okay. Donate it to someone. Okay, Jada also had to leave early, and so did Sydney. So Stan, that brings us to you. And you're getting the cotton candy. Okay. So the cotton candy award goes to a student who always gives a task a whirl, even if it is difficult. Congratulations. There you go. You're welcome. And Jack is not here, but Danny is going to accept Jack's award on his behalf and then drop it off to him. So Jack got the avocado, and the avocado goes to a student who is good for your heart. Okay. Okay. All right, George, that brings us to you, the pineapple. The pineapple award goes to a student who is unique and original. Congratulations to George. Ada, passion fruit. The passion fruit award goes to a student who is very passionate about all of their interests. You're welcome. Jordan, the artichoke. Where's Jordan? Do you like artichoke hearts? Okay. Maybe someone does. It's okay. Okay. The artichoke award goes to a student with a heart of gold. You're welcome. Here, take. They are really good in pasta. Okay, Lily, cucumber. I didn't get you an actual cucumber, sorry. Okay, the cucumber award goes to a student who is calm, cool, and collected. You're welcome. Evan Otot, the iceberg. I'm so funny. Okay. The iceberg lettuce award goes to a student who has a good head on their shoulders. But I just got you bagged, iceberg. Sorry. Okay. All right, Danny, you're back up here. What'd you get? Ooh, the chocolate. Okay. The chocolate award goes to a student who is chock full of energy and enthusiasm. Woohoo! And Antonio is the cake. So the cake award goes to a student who has many wonderful layers to their personality. You're welcome. You get these little cakesters. Congratulations. All right, folks, that is it. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for supporting these amazing young men and women. And I love you guys so much. I won't see you till Monday, though, because tomorrow I have